So 14 months ago to the day, we decided to make the move to Orlando, Florida from our homes in New York and New Jersey. And in today's video, we're gonna reflect on the last year of living in Orlando, talk about what our experiences have been like, some of the things we like, some of the things we dislike, and then we have a whole bunch of questions that you guys sent in over from Instagram, so we will get to those. So let's dive right in. So before we get started, I know the audio on this video really isn't the best. Our setup hasn't been perfected yet because we don't do a lot of at-home videos anymore, so we have to get a new microphone or microphones that we could wear when we're home in the office, but we're gonna dive right in. So like I said, 14 months ago, we moved to Orlando, and here we are.
I cannot believe it's been 14 months already.
Right.
In a way, I feel like it was just yesterday, but then in another way, I feel like we've been here forever, right?
It really does feel like that. And also I just feel like time moves a lot faster down here.
Yeah.
Because like we've always been doing something, we're always like on the go, there's a million different things to do and see, so I feel like the days just completely fly by.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I feel like that is one of the main things that I love about living here is we're always doing something.
Yeah.
We're always doing something new. There's still so many things that we haven't done yet, and we've been here a year. Like there's a whole list of things, not just theme park related, but just Florida in general and like the Orlando area in general that I want to explore.
Yeah, and we haven't been to a beach yet. I
I
know
know.
that might sound crazy, like you've been there a year, you're in a tropical climate all year round, how have you not gone to the beach? But we just haven't made it over to a beach yet.
I know, that's definitely on our to-do list.
But you're right, there are so many different things to kind of do and see, places to eat. Like there's just so much going on that it's gonna, if you wanted to do everything, it would take you years to do everything. And that's the plan. That's why we moved here, because there's just so many different things to do. So we have a bunch of your questions, like I said, we're gonna get to that a little bit later in the video. But for now, this is just gonna be like a conversation between you and I and you guys watching at home. We know what the questions generally are like when you're deciding to make a move, so hopefully we'll be able to answer some of them in this video and ease your mind a little bit or give you some helpful information if you're looking to make the move, whether it's next month, next year, in 5 years, anytime down the line. So my question for you is, what has been your favorite thing about living here for the last year?
That's a tough one. I mean, definitely the convenience of being close to the theme parks, I think is one of the big ones, just because we're there all the time, whether it's Disney, Universal, the water parks, there's just so much to do. Every time we go, we're doing something different, sometimes something new. But other than the convenience of being so close to the theme parks, I think just the weather for me. Like, even though it's so hot right now in the summer, like the fact that the sky is blue almost every day, the sun is always shining, like it just puts you in a better mood.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the whole concept of like a seasonal depression, not that we had that, but a lot of people do have that just does not exist down here, at least for us, because almost every single day the sun is shining, and like Alex said, this time of year it is absolutely hot as heck. Literally the real feel today was 100 degrees. It was 96 degrees here today. But for me, I'll take the 6 months of like a sweltering summer to not have to deal with like cold and snow.
Yeah.
I am not a cold person, so I agree that the weather's a plus.
Me neither. I don't like the cold. I don't miss the winters. The only season that I do kind of miss up north is the fall.
Yeah.
I love autumn. I love like the leaves changing. It was always so beautiful in New Jersey. So that is like the one season that I do miss, but I don't miss spring. I don't miss winter. And I would definitely rather take the heat over the cold. But one of the other things that we kind of compare it to is like, when we were in New York and New Jersey, we would like stay inside a lot of the winter because of the snow and the ice and the cold. That's kind of the opposite. Like down here, during the summer, we stay inside because it's so hot. Like we won't go to the theme parks until it's like after dinner time.
Exactly. Yeah, the weather, it's a good thing, but in this time of the year, you really have to be careful. It's, you know, heat stroke and like overheating is definitely a thing.
It's no joke.
It is no joke. So if you don't like being hot, this might not be the place for you because it's hot literally like half the year.
Yeah.
But that other half of the year is so nice when everybody back home is like shoveling snow and has blizzard warnings or wherever it may be, and you're just, you know, either in your pool or in shorts and a t-shirt, that makes up for it.
While we're on the topic of weather too, like a month after we moved in, we dealt with a hurricane.
We did. Hurricane Ian came, it wasn't a month after, because that was in, I think, September. Hurricane Ian came. But either way, it was shortly after we moved in. So that was a real, like, welcome to Florida moment. Here's your first hurricane that you have to deal with. I think that
officially made us Florida residents, living through the hurricane.
That was crazy. That was worse than I think we both thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
That was a heck of a way to be initiated as a Florida resident. But yeah, the weather is definitely a plus. Like Alex said, the convenience and closeness to the theme parks is just great. And then also just the fact that you're here for all the different seasons. Because if you're a theme park fan like we are, the holidays at the parks are fantastic. Whether it's 4th of July, whether it's Halloween, whether it's Christmas. And we often would come. We would come a few times a year. If you guys have been with us a while, you would know that. But you don't get to experience like everything because you're only here for a short amount of time. When you're living here and you're local, you get to do all the different things. And all the parks do different nice holiday events. SeaWorld does good things.
Yeah.
Disney, Universal. So that's one of the biggest pluses for me is I love like celebrating holidays and you have so much more time to celebrate here.
Right. And on the topic of that too, when you live here and you become a local, going to the theme parks is a little bit different.
Oh,
right?
It's very different, yeah.
Like we don't ever really go to the park and spend a whole day there unless like friends are visiting or we're gonna go with our family or something like that. But we only go for a short amount of time. We're never in a rush to do anything really because we know we can like literally come back tomorrow if we wanted to. So it makes it like very different. When we used to come on vacation, it was just a whole different feel. Not that it's better or worse or anything like that, but it's like a slower pace once you're a local.
Definitely, totally. And to kind of piggyback off that, a lot of people ask us, specifically when it comes to Disney, because this is kind of more of a Disney-focused question, but when you move to Florida and you go as often as we do you lose the magic? Now that's a little bit of a loaded question because as you guys know, there's a lot of things that Disney does that we are not fans of right now. We still love going to Disney, but a lot of the things that made Disney are gone. And they kind of took some of the magic away themselves. But I will say, it's not gone. It's just you appreciate things and experience things in a different way.
Yeah.
There's no more, running and gunning on vacation and, we have to spend, 2 hours here, and then we have to make it to our dinner reservation, and then we're gonna come back for fireworks. Like that is gone, but you get to soak in all the little details.
Yeah,
and that not to cut you off, but that goes for Disney, Universal, whatever park you like.
Yeah, and two things. Going back to what you were saying about Disney losing the magic, that doesn't have anything to do with us being locals. That's just Disney overall right now.
Yeah.
Second thing is the anticipation, I think, of like going to the park and having a vacation isn't really there anymore as a local. Like we used to like count down to like the vacation. Oh, we get on the flight and then we go to the resort and we're like so excited to be there. That's no longer there as a local because we don't have that.
Right.
We don't really stay in the resorts anymore. Although we do want to have some more like staycations in the future. But yeah, the anticipation isn't really there, or it's different now because we get to go so often.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we answered that question, I have a question for you.
All right.
So what is your least favorite part about living here, or something that you miss from living back at home?
That's a good question. I think the thing that I miss the most about home, obviously, is people, like friends and family. That's definitely a big part of it. The second piece would be food, like certain types of food.
I was gonna say the same
Not
thing.
all types of food. There's a lot of good places to eat. Orlando is a variety of different like cuisines, especially like in the downtown area. There's a lot of like really good restaurants, Dr. Phillips, all that. But for us, like coming from New York and New Jersey, pizza, bagels, Chinese food, those things, good ones, are very, very hard to come by. Like we have like 1 or 2 pizza places that we will eat at, and that's it. Like we won't go to anywhere else because the rest aren't good. So where I'm from, and it's similar with you, but more so where I'm from in like the boroughs of New York City, there's good pizza like everywhere. It's just a question of who has better pizza.
Yeah.
Like back where I'm from, you could walk into any pizzeria and it's gonna be good, Now, some might be better than others, but you're never really gonna find like a bad pizzeria.
It's hard to find certain things that we like down here, but not like everything. Like Matt said, there are places that are really good, but it's just hard.
Yeah, the food is definitely tough depending on where you come from. Now, if you come from other parts of the country, we have friends that move from California, and Mexican food for them. Really good Mexican food is hard to find here because obviously the West Coast is famous for that. So it really just depends where you're from. For us, it's like pizza, Chinese food, and bagels. But other than that, there's really nothing that I dislike about living here. Like, obviously, traffic is a concern. But again, we're coming from two very traffic-heavy areas. So for us, the traffic here is nothing compared to the traffic back home. But if you're coming from like a small town in the Midwest, or anything like that, the traffic's gonna be a lot for you. It's just all relative to where you're from. If you're moving here from New York City like me, or Los Angeles, or a big metro area, the traffic is a joke. Like, it's nothing compared to what we're used to. But it just depends where you're from. But honestly, there's really nothing that I dislike. I mean, my pros heavily outweigh the cons. If you are able to make the move, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, and if you're able to swing it for you or your family, to me it's a no-brainer. So those are just some of our favorite things, reasons why we like living here, etc. We're gonna get more into it in your questions. Now, we asked a while ago, probably like 2 months ago, I put out a story on Instagram asking you guys to send us your questions because we get a lot of messages about moving to Orlando still. Even though we do a lot of theme park content, people still want to know about our moving experience. They have a lot of questions about making the move. So we figured this is a good time to answer some of them. So we're gonna dive into some of those. And our first question, which is actually a series of questions, comes from Dusty. And he says, we're coming up on our 1-year target for moving to Orlando from chilly Chicago, and would love to know. And then there's 4 different questions. The first one is, how did you decide on the neighborhood for your new home? Now, the answer to this question was kind of a journey because we were looking at a number of different suburbs or towns, whatever you want to call it, within Orlando, Winter Garden, Winter Park, all these different places, trying to figure out where we wanted to live. Because what a lot of people don't realize is you can move to Orlando, but there are so many different towns and cities within Orlando that make up the greater Orlando area.
Yeah.
So you can live, in Orlando, which is downtown, over there, which is, more apartment, townhouse style living, more city life, or you can live a little bit more on the outskirts, which is kind of where we are, and there's a lot of different places to choose from. So we knew we had time on our side because we went under contract a little bit before we got married, and we weren't living together before we got married, and Alex was teaching up in New Jersey at the time, and she had to finish out her school contract for the year. So we knew we had time. We weren't gonna buy a resale home because at the time, the market was insane. People would list a house and within 24 hours it was sold.
It would be gone.
So there was no reason for us to try to buy a resale home because we weren't gonna buy a house without seeing it. We didn't live down here yet, etc. So we knew we wanted to build just because it would take at least a year, which was roughly what our timeline was. So we started to look in all these different cities and towns and figure out what we like about some, what do we like about others. And then we landed on a builder that we liked, and we decided to build where we are. But we originally were looking at one town, and we kind of got priced out of that, so we came to a neighboring town.
Right.
And that's where we are.
Yeah.
Anything else to add there, or?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it on the head.
All right. So number 2, did you move primarily for Disney? No, we did not move primarily for Disney.
That was a big part of it, but that wasn't the main reason.
No, it was a part of it, and like I said, we love going to the theme parks, as you guys know, but that wasn't the main reason why we moved down. Right. It was part of it. It was partially the cost of living. It was partially the weather. Going back to the cost of living, we were just getting married and we were gonna buy our first house, and we were kind of evaluating what we can get up north versus what we can get down here for similar price points.
Huge difference. It is very expensive in New York and New Jersey to buy a house. And the house that we got down here, we wouldn't even be able to probably get half of this where we're from. So that was a big part of it as well.
Yeah, and I think those are the main reasons. The weather, cost of living, the cost of purchasing a home, and of course living close to the theme parks. But that wasn't the reason why we decided to move.
The third question he asked was, what differences have you felt moving from a diverse city like NYC to Orlando?
I think the food, again, like just like the diversity of food, there are a lot of different types of cuisine down here, but again, like if you're gonna compare like the restaurant scene in New York versus the restaurant scene here, although it is good here, nothing is like New York in terms of food.
Yeah, but also other than food, Orlando itself is pretty diverse. Like,
oh yeah.
There is people from literally everywhere here. Like even in our community itself, like there's people from everywhere.
Everywhere. A lot of people from like overseas, a lot of Brazilians, a lot of other, Latin American countries, a lot of different types of people.
Yeah, and we always joke that nobody's actually from Orlando. Like everybody moves here.
Right.
Like it's like rare that you find somebody that actually grew up in Orlando.
Yeah.
And then the fourth question was, how did you prepare your cat for travel? Our kitty hates being in the car.
Well, Bunny didn't necessarily like living in the car. Speaking of Bunny, well, he's kind of laying on the floor. I was gonna go grab him, but if he gets up, I'll bring him in. But he did well.
So actually, we didn't really prepare him too much. The only thing I will say is that I went to the vet and I asked them what the best thing would be for him would be in the car, and I knew I didn't want to like drug him. I didn't want to give him any like medications really. So they told me like CBD oil, the CBD treats, like things like that to calm him. And I also did my own research, and there's also this spray, which I can probably go get and show them, that we sprayed in his carrier, and it's supposed to smell like almost like their mother or something like that, and it's supposed to calm them. So we bought like this big, it's not even a carrier, it's like a big,
it's like a pop-up like tent almost.
Yeah, for the back. It literally took up the whole back seat, and it even has a litter box in it that he didn't use the entire time, but it was there if he needed it. And we actually found that he was very comfortable in there because when we would stop, I would take him out just so that he could like walk around the car a little bit, sit on my lap, and he always wanted to go back in there. I guess just because like cats like smaller spaces and like being enclosed. So I definitely would recommend that. I would recommend the spray. I would spray that in there before we would put him in each day. And then we did give him some of the CBD oil and the treats, and I think
he was fine.
That calmed him,
Yeah, and we did stop halfway, and we stayed overnight in the hotel, so he got to get out of the car a little bit. But overall, he did really well. If I can find the carrier that we bought and used, I'll leave a link down in the description. I think I'll be able to find it because I think we got it off Amazon.
Yeah.
But it was great, and it's actually still in our bedroom. He sleeps in it like all the time.
We call it his house. He likes to sleep in there sometimes.
But yeah, he did well, and your cats will do well too. Our next question is, don't you wish you would have only moved sooner? The answer, that's a simple one, yes.
Yeah, we mentioned that before. I think if we could have, we would have, but no regrets. We're here now, and we'll be here for the long run, so.
Yeah, no regrets at all. Next question is, how many days have you visited Disney this year with your annual pass? It's a really good question, and it's funny, as we were going to Hollywood Studios yesterday to meet up with some friends that were visiting, I was thinking, is there a way where you can see how many times you've scanned in? Because I would love to calculate how many times we go versus like what that would have cost if we bought a day ticket every time. Because Disney's like losing money on people like us.
Yeah, I don't think we can, but maybe if you go to guest relations, they probably have it in their system and can probably tell you, but I don't know for sure.
But just like on average, it's a little different for us because like a lot of times we're going to like make videos and like create content and whatnot. But I would say at least once a week, usually like probably more than that, honestly, at least twice a week, and that's dependent on what we're shooting. So that could be Disney, it could be Universal, it could be something else. But we're in a theme park at least 2 days a week, if not more. Yeah. And the next question is favorite and least favorite part about your new hometown. So I will say the favorite part for me is just the topography. Like where we live is very hilly, and it's not typical Florida. Florida is very flat, it's just flat all around. But where we are, it's a lot of different like rolling hills, and it's very, very scenic. And I think that's my favorite part about it.
Yeah, I really like that too. It almost reminds me of where I'm from in New Jersey. I wouldn't say it's country here, but there are like farms, but then there's also like a lot of stores and everything is right here, which I like too, the convenience of everything. And other than that though, I would say it's far enough away from the theme parks to be like a nice little town. Like the community is very nice. It's not touristy, but we're close enough to get to the theme parks every other day if we wanted to.
Yeah, we're like 30-35 minutes away from both Disney and Universal.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it's a nice community, it's pretty, and it's not touristy, because we didn't want to be in that tourist bubble. That was important to us.
Yeah, and then the least favorite part about our new hometown, this isn't necessarily about our hometown, or a new hometown I should say, it's just more about building in a new community, is all the construction.
Yeah.
So we were one of the first people to move into our new community. There's gonna be like over 300 homes in here. And like I said, we were one of the very first houses and first residents of where we are, which means we had to deal with a lot of construction. And thankfully, we're, I'd say at least 60% done in the community. They're now working all in the back half, so we don't really ever see or hear anything. But for a long time, especially when they were building our neighbors on both sides of us, it was so loud that it felt like they were in your house.
Yeah.
And we both work from home. So, taking meetings and things like that with, guys jackhammering and drilling and knocking walls down next door, that's my least favorite part.
Yeah.
It's definitely like all the construction we had to live through.
If you're going to build in a new community, just keep that in mind, especially if you are like one of the first ones like us, not in the back half of the building. But that's just something we had to deal with. The next question is, has it been difficult to establish new friendships? And this was actually something that I was like not worried about, but we had like a lot of friends back at home, and because we're still like, we're a younger couple, we don't have kids yet, so it's not like you can like meet other like moms and dads because we don't have kids yet. We were kind of like a little nervous, like, are we gonna establish like a friend group? Like, I don't know. But happy to say we do have a very nice friend group that we're always with and always doing things with. And we also, because our community was new, everybody was kind of in the same boat, which was nice. Like, everybody was very friendly and wanted to meet their neighbors. So we did meet a lot of people in our community too.
Yeah, our neighbors are great. And then, like Alex said, we have a really nice group of friends that we're very, very lucky to have found. That's not the case for everybody. A couple of them we knew before we moved, so that made it easier. And then we met some of their friends through them, and made ourselves a little friend group. But it's really not easy for the most part.
I know.
Hold on, Bunny's. Let me go get Bunny. He's trying to escape the office. Look who it is. Say hi, Bun. Say hello. Everybody loves when Bunny's on camera. He's trying to get out. So, all right, I'm gonna put him down. Go ahead. And honestly, it's like dating.
Yeah.
It's like you have to date for friends.
Yeah. And
you try people out and meet up with people, whether it's for a drink or a dinner or whatever. See if you gel. If not, you don't see each other again. If you do, you become friends. So it's like dating. And it's not the easiest thing to do when you're, for us, we're over 30 years old. So like we have our lifelong friends and everything. And now to try to make new friends in your early 30s isn't necessarily the easiest thing, but we are very lucky. Next question is, how do you like it now versus living up north? This is a very quick answer. The only thing I miss about living up north is our family and the food.
Yeah.
Nothing else I miss.
And our friends.
Right, and our friends, of course. Do you guys actually have any neighbors? We do have neighbors now.
Now we do.
Now we do. For the longest time we didn't, but now our community is very much on its way to being completed. I would say we're well past the halfway point.
Yeah.
We're probably like anywhere 60 to 65% completed. So there's tons of people living in here now. So we got lots of neighbors, and they're all awesome. We get along with pretty much everybody, which is very, very rare. And it's just a great group of people. We love our community. We love where we pick to live, and we're very, very happy with it. The next question is favorite local spots you found? This one's kind of tough because, again, we're not going to disclose the town that we live in, but I will say all of the towns have really, really good local spots. And I know that's a very vague answer, but you can go to Winter Garden, and there's a lot of cool things around Plant Street. Claremont has a lot of nice things. Winter Park has an awesome downtown. Dr. Phillips.
Celebration.
Like, and that's what's really awesome about it too, is a lot of the towns have their own like little downtown area. And they're all different, but they're all like somewhat similar. And there's a lot of like mom and pop restaurants and bars. It's cool. It's
yeah,
cool vibe.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I like going to like the farmers markets. There's a bunch of different ones that you could go to each weekend and check out.
Yeah.
And where they are is where like they're all like their little downtown areas are, like Matt said. So you can check out different restaurants and bars and shops, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
The next question is how was the process of building your home, and who did you use to do the build? Oh, this is a loaded question.
This is a loaded question.
So we used Dream Finders, and we initially picked them because we loved the model homes that we saw. We thought that they did a really good job. We actually went to see like a bunch of different builders, and
Tons.
they were one of the top ones that we would pick.
Well, at least we thought
the
time.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, we love our house.
Yeah, we love our house, but can we recommend them? Absolutely not.
Not after the whole building process.
No, our building process was relatively easy, but a lot of our neighbors had major issues. Like, well, I'm not just talking, slight delays. I'm talking, massive flooding, termites, like a lot of major
People
issues.
that had to wait like over 2 years for their house to be built.
Yep,
Like,
we have a lot of neighbors that it took between 2 and 2.5 years to build their house.
Yeah, and then like Matt said, a lot of construction errors, I guess you could say. And along with that is their customer service was absolutely terrible.
Could not be any worse.
Yeah.
It was literally the worst customer service experience I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
So with any company.
We can't really recommend them to you guys, unfortunately, anymore. Like we said, we do love our house. We love our community. We got pretty lucky. We haven't had any major issues with our house at all.
Yep.
But yeah, unfortunately, there has been some major issues.
Yeah. The part 2 to that question was like, what was the process like? It's a lengthy process. It varies and it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Our overall experience was like just over a year from when we signed the contract. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was just under a year from when we signed the contract to when we actually closed on our home. So it was about 11 months for us, but that's
not the case for a lot.
No, that is not necessarily the norm. Some people it took 11 months. Some people moved in 8. Other people it took, well over 2 years. So it just really, really depends on like the situation and the financial status of the company you're dealing with at the time. And then like I said earlier, you have to live through the construction.
Yeah.
So that's my number 1 tip is if you are buying in a community that is not established yet, be prepared for a long road when it comes to construction.
Yeah.
No pun intended, because they have to build the roads. But it's a lengthy process. So just know that going in. We hope you guys enjoyed this little catch-up video. It's been a while since we've done something like this, and we hope you found the video helpful. If you have any questions about moving to Orlando, building a home, anything like that, you can leave them down in the comment below, or you can reach out to us on Instagram at MattAndAlex Vlogs. We are very responsive there, and we will talk to you for as long as you would like to talk to us for.
Yeah.
So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel down below so you don't miss out on all our future videos to come. And with that being said, we'll see you guys real soon.